Consider for a moment those times in your life when you felt lost, uncertain, not knowing which path to take or what action to pursue. Perhaps you're in such a situation right now. The world around you may seem chaotic, options may appear limited, and the future uncertain. But I say unto you, in these very moments of apparent confusion and indecision lies your greatest opportunity for growth and manifestation. But what is this that you must do when you don't know what to do? It is not a matter of external action or logical analysis. It is a state of consciousness, a shift in your very being that aligns you with the creative power of the universe. It is about recognizing that the answer, the guidance, the path forward is already within you, waiting to be imagined into being. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. Your outer world, every experience you have, every circumstance you encounter, is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world, your consciousness. It is a mirror faithfully reflecting back to you the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and most importantly, your imaginal acts. When you understand this, truly understand it, you realize that by carefully choosing and vividly imagining a desired state, even in the face of uncertainty, you are actively creating a new reality that will unfold in your experience. This understanding is crucial, for it shifts the entire paradigm of how you approach moments of uncertainty. No longer are you a helpless being at the mercy of external circumstances, desperately seeking guidance from the outside world. You become the active creator of your reality, knowing that as you imagine and feel a desired state, the universe must rearrange itself to match this new inner assumption, providing the guidance and clarity you seek. But how, you may ask, can one tap into this inner wisdom when the outer world seems so chaotic and uncertain? The answer lies in the creative power of your wonderful human imagination, combined with the intensity of your feeling and belief. For your imagination is not a mere fantasy maker, and your feelings are not mere reactions to external stimuli. Together, they form the very workshop in which reality is forged. Let us take a moment to truly understand this. Your subconscious mind, which is one with the universal creative force, does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and feel as true and what you actually experience in the outer world. It accepts as true whatever you feel to be true in your imaginal acts. And once it accepts an idea as true, it proceeds to bring it into manifestation in your physical reality, regardless of how uncertain or impossible the situation may seem to your rational mind. So when you find yourself in a moment of confusion, not knowing what to do, this is what you must do. Turn within to your imagination. Create a scene that implies your desired outcome has already been realized. Feel the relief, the clarity, the certain knowing the perfect path has been revealed to you. Live in this imaginal act as though it were your physical reality. This, my dear listeners, is the essence of what to do when you don't know what to do. It is about recognizing that the power to shape your reality, to find clarity in confusion, lies within you, waiting to be expressed through your conscious imaginal acts. It is about understanding that your outer world of uncertainty is nothing more than a reflection of your inner conversations and imaginal acts, which can be radically altered by assuming a new state in imagination. Consider the biblical phrase, "Be still and know that I am God." This is not a mere poetic expression or a call for passive acceptance. It is a statement of cosmic law, an invitation to recognize the power of your inner being. When you become still, when you quiet the chatter of your worried mind and enter into your imagination, you are connecting with the God presence within you, the source of all wisdom and guidance. But let me be clear, this turning within, this use of your imagination in moments of uncertainty is not about escapism or denial of your current circumstances. It is about a total immersion in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, of the perfect solution already realized. When you truly embody this practice, you naturally assume the thoughts, feelings, and inner conversations of the person who has already received the guidance they seek. You go to sleep not as the person bound by uncertainty and confusion, but as the person who is clear, confident, and moving purposefully towards their desired outcome. Let us explore this further with an example. Imagine a person facing a critical decision in their life, perhaps choosing between two career paths, unsure of which to pursue. Their outer reality shows no clear signs of which path to take. Now imagine this person deciding to turn within to their imagination. As they quiet their mind, they create a scene that implies they have already made the perfect choice and are thriving in their new career. They feel the satisfaction, the certainty, the joy of knowing they are on the right path. They allow this feeling to permeate every cell of their being. They live in this imaginal act not just for a moment, but they return to it again and again, especially as they drift off to sleep at night. When they awaken, something has shifted. They may not see immediate external changes in their circumstances, but internally, they are no longer the same person. They have experienced the reality of clarity and certainty, and this new self-concept begins to reshape their outer world. In the days and weeks that follow, they find themselves naturally drawn to information, people, and opportunities related to one of the career paths. They approach the decision-making process with a newfound sense of calm and confidence. Ideas and insights that were previously obscured suddenly become clear. And as they continue to live from this state of clarity and certainty in their imagination, their outer world begins to reflect this inner knowing. The perfect path reveals itself, often in ways they could never have logically planned or anticipated. This principle applies to every aspect of your life where you find yourself uncertain or not knowing what to do. Whether you're facing a relationship challenge, a health concern, a financial decision, or any other situation that leaves you feeling lost, the key is to first assume the state of clarity and knowing in your imagination. Feel the reality of having perfect guidance, of knowing exactly what to do. Live in that state, in your imagination, knowing that as you do so, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind that must grow into your outer reality. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, how can simply imagining a solution really provide guidance when I truly don't know what to do? Surely I need to gather more information or seek advice from others. And to this I say external information and advice can certainly play a role, but they are secondary to the wisdom that comes from within. When you turn to your imagination first, when you assume the state of clarity and knowing, you align yourself with infinite intelligence. From this aligned state, you will be guided to the right information, the right people, the right circumstances that will support your desired outcome. Remember, the outer world is dead. It has no life of its own. It is your consciousness that gives life to your experiences. When you remain in a state of confusion and uncertainty, constantly seeking answers outside yourself, you are breathing life into a reality that perpetuates that confusion. But when you turn within, when you assume the state of clarity, and knowing in your imagination, you set in motion a series of events that must culminate in the outer expression of this new inner reality. This, my dear friends, is the true secret to knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. It is about aligning your inner conversations and imaginal acts with the state of clarity and guidance, recognizing that this desired reality is seeking expression through you, and allowing it to flow into your experience through the power of your imagination and unwavering belief. But let me warn you, this shift in consciousness This practice of turning within when faced with uncertainty is not always an easy task. The old habits of worry, of seeking answers outside yourself, of feeling lost and confused are deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. As you embark on this new way of approaching uncertainty, you may find resistance arising within you. Doubts may creep in. Old thought patterns may try to reassert themselves. When this happens, do not fight against these thoughts and feelings. Simply observe them, acknowledge them, and then gently return to your imaginal act of clarity and knowing. For the war is not won by battling against what you don't want, but by persistently embodying what you do want. This persistence, this unwavering commitment to living in a state of clarity and guidance in your imagination, even in the face of outer uncertainty, is what allows you to truly transform your reality. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you're trying to listen to a particular station, you don't focus on eliminating all the other stations. You simply tune into the frequency you desire. In the same way, you don't need to fight against your chaos of confusion or forcefully push away thoughts of uncertainty. You simply need to tune yourself to the frequency of clarity and guidance, to align your entire consciousness with the reality where you know exactly what to do. This tuning is done through your imagination and your ability to generate feeling states. Your imagination is the dial that allows you to tune into different frequencies of experience. As you use your imagination to fully embody the state of clarity and knowing, as you feel the reality of being divinely guided, you are tuning yourself to that frequency, allowing the corresponding experiences to flow into your life. But remember, my friends, this is not a one-time event. Turning within and using your imagination when you don't know what to do is a practice, a way of life. It's a constant choice to maintain this new approach to uncertainty, regardless of appearances. Just as you wouldn't expect to stay in shape by exercising once, you cannot expect to master this practice by using it once. This is about persistently turning within, about maintaining the consciousness of clarity and divine guiding in and day out until it becomes your new normal. As you do this, you will find that your perception of uncertainty begins to shift. What once seemed like confusing, chaotic situations now appear as opportunities for growth and new possibilities. Challenges become stepping stones to greater understanding. You begin to see yourself as the empowered being you truly are, knowing that divine guidance is always available to you through your imagination. Now some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how can I maintain this practice of turning within when my outer world still seems uncertain? How can I persist in feeling clarity and guidance when circumstances seem to contradict it? And to this I say, your imagination infused with feeling is more powerful than any circumstance. Consider for a moment, have you ever been deeply moved by a story, whether in a book or a movie? In those moments, were you not feeling real emotions based on imaginary events? Your feelings were real, even though the events were not happening in your physical reality. This is the power you must harness when you turn within in moments of uncertainty. You must use your imagination to create scenarios that evoke the feelings associated with having perfect clarity and guidance. Imagine how you would feel if you knew with absolute certainty the perfect path to take. Feel the relief, the confidence, the sense of peace that would come with this knowing. Feel these states as vividly and as consistently as you can. The key is to make your imaginal act as real to you as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the sensations in your body associated with clarity and confidence. Hear the words of wisdom that come from within. See yourself moving through your life with purpose and direction. Make it so real that your rational mind cannot distinguish between this inner experience and physical reality. But here's a crucial point, my friends. The goal is not to imagine specific solutions or outcomes. The goal is to capture the essence of the feeling state associated with having divine guidance and knowing exactly what to do. For it is this feeling state that is the true attractor of your experiences. Let me illustrate this with an example. Instead of trying to imagine the specific details of a solution to solve, capture the feeling essence of being divinely guided. Imagine a warm, comforting light filling your being, bringing with it a sense of absolute knowing. Feel the peace, the certainty, the alignment that comes with this state. See yourself moving through your day with an unshakable confidence, knowing that each step you take is divinely guided. By focusing on the feeling essence rather than specific outcomes, you allow the universe to bring your solution to you in ways that might far exceed your specific imaginings. You open yourself to possibilities beyond what your current mindset can conceive. This is the true art of knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. It's not about forcing yourself to come up with a solution through sheer willpower. It's about aligning yourself with the truth of your divine nature, your oneness with the creative power of the universe. It's about living each day from the state of being divinely guided regardless of outer appearances. As you practice this, you may find that your outer world begins to shift in subtle ways. Perhaps you start to notice more synchronicities in your life, or you find yourself naturally drawn to information or people that provide the guidance you seek, or solutions to problems that once seemed impossible begin to present themselves effortlessly. These are all signs that your inner shift, brought about by turning within, is creating ripples in your outer reality. Don't discount these small changes. Celebrate them. See them as confirmation that the law is working, that your imaginal acts are taking root. But don't become attached to them or anxiously look for them. Simply acknowledge them with gratitude and continue to live from the state of divine guidance in your imagination. As you persist in this practice, larger changes will begin to manifest. You may find yourself navigating complex situations with ease and grace. You may notice that decisions that once paralyzed you with uncertainty now become clear and obvious. You may achieve outcomes you once thought impossible with a sense of effortless alignment. And as you continue to turn within and live from the state of divine guidance, you'll discover that life becomes an exciting adventure of ever-unfolding clarity and purpose. But remember, the outer manifestation is not the goal. The goal is the state of consciousness from which all desired experiences naturally flow. This is a crucial point, my friends. When you're truly embodying the state of being divinely guided, when you're fully living from this consciousness, you no longer need external circumstances to confirm your state. You're already whole, already complete in your knowing that you are always divinely guided. And paradoxically, it's in this state of inner assurance that you're most likely to experience a life where you always know exactly what to do. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do things in the physical world to find solutions and make decisions? And to this I say, yes, action is part of the process. But it's inspired action, not anxious doing. When you're consistently turning within and living from the state of divine guidance, ideas and opportunities will naturally present themselves to you. You'll feel inspired to take certain actions, to move in certain directions. These actions won't feel like struggle or effort. They'll feel natural, joyful, almost effortless. This is the difference between trying to figure things out through sheer mental effort and allowing solutions to unfold naturally. When you're trying to force clarity, actions feel stressful, born out of fear and uncertainty. When you're living from the consciousness of divine guidance, actions flow naturally from your aligned state, guided by an inner wisdom that knows exactly what steps to take. Consider the example of a river flowing to the sea. The river doesn't strain to find its path. It doesn't force its way through obstacles. It simply flows, naturally finding the path of least resistance. You, my dear listeners, are no different. When you align yourself with the consciousness of divine guidance through your imagination, you allow your life to unfold naturally and beautifully, always knowing the perfect steps to take. But let me be clear, this state of allowing is not passive. It requires an active use of your imagination, a deliberate and focused embodiment of the state of being divinely guided. It requires faith, not blind faith in external circumstances, but faith in the creative power of your consciousness and your ability to always know what to do through your connection with infinite intelligence. This faith is not about believing that you'll figure things out someday in the future. It's about knowing that you are divinely guided now in this very moment, and that your outer world must inevitably conform to this new inner reality. As you cultivate this faith, as you persist in turning within and living from the state of divine guidance, you'll begin to see evidence of always knowing what to do in your outer world. These signs may start small, an unexpected insight that solves a problem, a chance encounter that provides exactly the information you need, a sudden clarity about a decision you've been struggling with. Do not discount these signs, no matter how small they may seem, for they are confirmation that your inner world, shaped by your imaginal acts, is indeed shaping your outer reality. They are breadcrumbs leading you to the full realization of a life where you always know is now exactly what to do, even in the face of apparent uncertainty. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to address a common concern that arises when people first encounter this teaching. Many worry that turning within and relying on their imagination for guidance might somehow disconnect them from reality or lead to impractical decisions. But I assure you, my friends, the opposite is true. When you truly understand the principle of turning within for guidance, you realize that you are not separate from reality. You are the creator of your reality. As you elevate your own consciousness by connecting with the divine guidance within, you are elevating your ability to navigate the physical world with grace and wisdom. I am not referring to some distant deity sitting on a cloud, passing judgment on his creation. No, the God of whom I speak is your own wonderful human imagination. This is the God that created all things and continues to create your world even now. The eternal body of man is the imagination that is God himself, as Blake so brilliantly expressed. This divine presence is not separate from you. It is the very core of your being. It is the I am consciousness that declares itself whenever you say, I am. When you state, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am loved, you are activating the creative power of God within you. This power never sleeps, never fails, and never abandons the work it has begun in you. Perhaps you look at your current circumstances and see evidence that contradicts the fulfillment of your desires. You may see limitation where you crave abundance, illness where you long for health, or solitude where you yearn for companionship. And you wonder, has God abandoned me? Is the process broken? I tell you with absolute certainty, God is not done with you. Your physical senses present a world of effects, but the true causative power lies in your imagination. What you now experience as your reality was once only imagined. And what you now imagine with feeling and conviction must, by law, externalize itself in your world. The divine process. The process by which imagination creates reality follows an inviolable pattern. First comes the seed, your assumption. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you plant this seed in the fertile soil of consciousness. Then comes a period of gestation. During this interval, the conditions necessary for your assumption's fulfillment are being arranged in ways your conscious mind cannot perceive. Many abandon their desires during this critical gestation period, not understanding the perfect timing of divine law. They mistake the silence for absence, the darkness for defeat. But I tell you, this is the very moment to intensify your faith, to deepen your conviction that God's work in you continues unabated, unseen. The seed must decompose before the new growth appears. There is always a period of darkness, of apparent nothingness, before the manifestation of the new state. This is nature's way, and nature is but God's method of operation. Consider the miracle of a simple seed. Place it in the ground, and to all appearances it dies. There is a period where nothing seems to happen. Is the process incomplete? Has nature abandoned its purpose? No, beneath the surface, invisible to human eyes, a magnificent transformation is occurring. The seed casing breaks down, releasing the life force within. Roots extend downward. A shoot pushes upward, and in perfect timing, not a moment too soon or too late, new life emerges into the light. So it is with the seeds of your desires. Once planted in consciousness through the feeling of the wish fulfilled, they enter a period of invisible development. This is not a time of inactivity, but of the most profound activity beyond the detection of your senses. Do not despair during this period of seeming nothingness. Do not interpret the silence as abandonment. God is not done with you. The divine process continues, arranging the 1,000 details necessary for your assumption to flower into fact. Persistence in the face of contradiction. The world of Caesar, the world of physical evidence, will always present facts that contradict your new assumption. This is the greatest test of your faith. Can you persist in your assumption despite the testimony of your senses? When the man with the withered hand was commanded to stretch it forth, all physical evidence argued against the possibility. His experience, his memory, medical opinion, all would have counseled against attempting the impossible. Yet in that critical moment, he did not consult his past, but activated his imagination to feel what it would be like to have a perfectly functioning hand. He persisted in this new assumption despite all contradictory evidence, and his hand was restored. You too must develop this capacity to persist in your new assumption regardless of contradictory appearances. Your physical senses can only show you what has been manifested from past imaginings. They cannot reveal what is being shaped now through your present act of imagination. Remember the words attributed to Jesus, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." Righteous judgment is to judge from the standpoint of your wish fulfilled, to see what is not yet visible to mortal eyes. When you find yourself beset by doubts, when the voice of reason lists all the obstacles to your desires' fulfillment, when well-meaning friends counsel you to be realistic, this is the moment to reaffirm, God is not done with me. The process is unfolding perfectly. That which I've assumed in my imagination is already mine in the reality of consciousness, and must shortly become mine in the world of effects. The law of identical harvest. A fundamental law of creation is that you always reap what you sow. Your harvest will be identical in kind to your seed. If you plant corn, you will not harvest wheat. If you plant assumptions of lack, you cannot reap abundance. Many pray fervently for one state, while constantly imagining themselves in its opposite. They pray for health while fixating on symptoms. They desire wealth while mentally rehearsing their financial worries. They long for love while imaginatively dwelling on their loneliness. Then they wonder why God seems to have abandoned their cause. I tell you, God has not abandoned you. The Lord is functioning perfectly. You are experiencing precisely what you have planted in consciousness through your dominant assumptions. If you desire a different harvest, you must plant different seeds. You must revise your concept of self. Instead of accepting the suggestion of limitation, consciously choose the assumption of fulfillment. Feel yourself to be the person you wish to be. Experience imaginatively the state you long to occupy. Do this with the conviction that God's process is at work within you. Your conscious assumption activates the divine creative power, which then works day and night, independently of your conscious awareness, to bring about the conditions necessary for your assumption's fulfillment. The present moment is the point of creation. Many believe that fulfillment lies in some distant future, that they must wait for God to complete his work. But I tell you, the only point of creation is the eternal now. God's work in you is completed the moment you fully accept your assumption as fact. In imagination, step into the state of your wish fulfilled. Experience it with all the vividness you can muster. Feel the naturalness of being what you desire to be. Then know with absolute certainty that in the reality of consciousness, the only true reality or desire is already fulfilled. The time it takes for this inner fulfillment to become apparent to your senses is determined by the intensity of your feeling and the naturalness of your assumption. Some desires manifest instantly, while others require a period of unfoldment. But make no mistake, the creative act is completed in the moment of assumption. God is not working toward the fulfillment of your desire. In the moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, that desire was granted. What follows is not creation, but the emergence into visibility of that which is already complete, the Sabbath rest. After God completed his work of creation, he rested. This is a profound mystical truth that holds the key to successful manifestation. When you have planted the seed of your desire through conscious assumption, you must enter the Sabbath, the state of mental rest. Many undermine their creative work by continuing to labor anxiously after the seed is planted. They dig up the seed repeatedly to check if it's growing. They water it with tears of doubt and fear. They hover over it with the anxious concern of a parent whose lack of trust impedes the natural development of their child. To trust the process is to enter the Sabbath rest. Having assumed the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you release all anxiety about how and when it will appear in your world. You know with unshakable confidence that what you have planted must, by divine law, come to harvest. This rest is not inactivity, but the highest form of activity, the activity of faith. It is a mental stillness that reflects absolute confidence in the perfect operation of divine law. It is the peace that comes from knowing that God is not done with you, that the process continues perfectly without your anxious supervision. The principle of revision. If you have planted seeds contrary to your desires, if you have accepted limiting assumptions that now manifest as unwanted conditions, do not despair. The divine power of revision is always available to you. Through the art of revision, you can literally re-raw past. As you drop into sleep tonight, replay the events of your day, not as they occurred, but as you wish they had occurred. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment that would be yours had things gone ideally. This is not mere fantasy or escapism. This is the activation of the divine process of creation. Your imaginal act, impressed upon the malleable substance of consciousness, will work backward and forward to bring about conditions in harmony with your revised version. God is not done with your past any more than he is done with your future. All time exists simultaneously in the eternal now of consciousness. What you have experienced as past remains alive and subject to revision through the power of your imagination. The bridge of incidents between your present state and the fulfillment of your desire stretches what I call the bridge of incidents, a series of seemingly unrelated ends that lead inevitably to your desired end. You need not concern yourself with constructing this bridge. That is the work of the divine process. Your task is simply to occupy the end, to dwell mentally in the state of your wish fulfilled, and to trust the perfect operation of the law to bring about all intermediate steps. These steps may not follow the path you would consciously choose. They may include apparent setbacks or detours. The human intellect, with its limited perspective, cannot map the shortest route between desire and fulfillment. But divine intelligence, operating through your assumption, knows the perfect way. Often, what appears to be a devastating disappointment proves to be a necessary link in the chain of fulfillment. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the investment that failed, all may be essential components of the bridge leading to something far greater than you had imagined. This is why trust in the process is so essential. When you truly understand that God is not done with you, you can meet every circumstance with the conviction that it forms part of the perfect pattern leading to your good. Living from the end. The most powerful position from which to create is the end. When you mentally dwell in the end, the state of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the creative current that brings all things into being. Most people live from memory rather than from imagination. They allow their present to be determined by their past. But the awakened individual lives from imagination, allowing their present to be shaped by their chosen future. To live from the end is to occupy mentally the state you desire to externalize. It is to feel the naturalness of being what you want to be. It is to experience the satisfaction of having what you want to have. As you persist in this mental occupation, the present circumstances of your life begin to rearrange themselves to conform to your assumption. People, events, and conditions align perfectly to make your invisible assumption a visible fact. This is not wishful thinking or positive affirmation. This is the operation of immutable law. Your consciousness is the only reality. What you accept as true in consciousness must externalize itself in your world. There is no power outside of your own wonderful human imagination that can override this process. The pruning process. Sometimes the manifestation of your desire requires the removal of certain elements from your life. This is the necessary pruning that precedes new growth. Just as a gardener prunes a rose bush, cutting away even healthy branches to promote more abundant flowering, so the divine process sometimes removes people, circumstances, or conditions that cannot harmonize with your new assumption. This pruning may temporarily appear as loss, as disappointment, as abandonment. But I assure you, it is evidence not that God has abandoned his work in you, but that the process continues perfectly. Every apparent loss creates space for something better to enter. Every relationship that ends makes room for more fulfilling connection. Every door that closes propels you toward the open door that leads to your good. Trust the pruning process. Know that nothing essential to your happiness and fulfillment can be taken from you. That which is removed simply cannot accompany you into your new state of being. The all-above assumption supersedes all lesser laws. Many believe themselves bound by limitations, physical laws, heredity, environment, past mistakes, the actions of others. They see these as insurmountable obstacles to the fulfillment of their desires. But I tell you, the law of assumption supersedes all lesser laws. When you firmly assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, all other factors must rearrange themselves to conform to your assumption. The laws of physics, biology, economics, and social interaction are not absolute. They are patterns based on collective assumptions. Your individual assumption, when maintained with conviction, can modify or suspend these lesser laws. This is the true meaning of miracle. Not a suspension of law, but the operation of higher law that transcends common expectations. You are not bound by your past, your genes, your environment, or the actions of others. These present obstacles only to the degree that you accept them as limitations. Change your fundamental assumptions, and these seeming obstacles become the very elements that contribute to your success. The states of consciousness. Your entire life is a movement through various states of consciousness. Each state has its own inherent conditions and circumstances. When you occupy a state of poverty consciousness, you experience the limitations and lacks associated with poverty. When you occupy a state of health consciousness, you experience the vitality and well-being associated with health. These states are not imposed upon you from without. You enter them through your assumptions, and you can leave any undesirable state by assuming yourself to be in its opposite. Many pray to be delivered from an unwanted state while mentally continuing to occupy it. This is like asking to be in Boston while refusing to leave Chicago. You cannot be in two cities or two states of consciousness simultaneously. If you desire to experience the conditions of abundance, you must vacate the state of poverty by assuming the feeling of abundance. If you wish to experience radiant health, you must vacate the state of illness by assuming the feeling of vitality. The divine process that I speak of is this movement from state to state, each bringing its corresponding conditions into your life. God is not done with you because this progression never ends. There are infinite states of consciousness available to you, each offering richer experiences than the last. The purpose of the process. You may wonder why the process unfolds as it does. Why doesn't God simply grant your desire instantly? Why the waiting, the unfolding, the bridge of incidents? The purpose of the process is not merely to give you the thing desired, but to transform you into the person who can receive and maintain it. The unfoldment perfectly paces your evolution in consciousness. If you received instantly everything your surface mind desires, without the corresponding development in consciousness, you would either fail to recognize your good or be unable to sustain it. Consider the lottery winners who receive vast wealth without the consciousness of wealth, only to lose it all within a few years. Consider the person who achieves their dream relationship, but lacking the consciousness of being loved, sabotages it through insecurity and fear. The divine process works not just to bring you your desire, but to bring you into alignment with it. The waiting period, which so many interpret as delay or denial, is actually exact time needed for you to develop the consciousness that can contain your good. Trust this process. Know that God is not done with you. The perfect pattern of your unfoldment is proceeding exactly as it should. The promise. Beyond all manifestation of specific desires, what I call the promise, the ultimate purpose of the divine process working in you. This promise is your complete awakening to your true identity as God individualized. All lesser manifestations, wealth, health, relationships, achievements are steps leading to this supreme realization. They are important, yes, but they are not the final purpose of the process. God is not done with you because the work continues until the promise is fulfilled in you, until you awaken fully to the truth that you are God in human form, that there is no power outside of your consciousness, that you are the author of all that you experience. This awakening does not come through effort or merit. It unfolds in its appointed time, after you have exhausted your desire for lesser gifts, when you have experienced all that you wish to have and be in this world. The promise begins to stir within you. Signs of its approach include increased detachment from worldly concerns, spontaneous visions of spiritual significance, and a growing awareness of your identity with the divine I am. When the promise is fulfilled, you know beyond all doubt that you and the Father are one, persisting through the dark night. Almost everyone who walks this path experiences what has been called the dark night of the soul, a period of profound doubt, confusion, and seeming abandonment. During this phase, all that you have believed appears to fail you. Your manifestations cease, your faith wavers, and God seems utterly absent from your life. This dark night is not evidence that the process has failed, but that it has reached a critical juncture. It is the final purification before a significant breakthrough. It is the darkness before dawn. During this period, old beliefs and attachments are being dissolved to make way for a new level of consciousness. The caterpillar must enter the darkness of the chrysalis and experience the dissolution of its caterpillar identity before it can live as a butterfly. If you are experiencing such a dark night, take heart. God is not done with you. This is not abandonment, but transformation. Hold fast to your faith, not with desperate clutching, but with quiet confidence. Continue to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even when all evidence argues against it. Those who persist through the dark night emerge with a sight that cannot be shaken, a knowledge that cannot be undermined by temporary appearances. They become masters of creation rather than victims of circumstance. The transformed mind. As you work with the law of assumption and trust the divine process, your mind undergoes a profound transformation. You develop what the Bible calls the mind of Christ, a consciousness aligned perfectly with divine creative power. This transformed mind is not swayed by appearances. It judges not by sensory evidence, but by the reality of imagination. It knows that what is seen is temporary, while what is unseen is eternal. With this mind, you no longer react to conditions. You respond to them creatively, knowing that your consciousness determines your experience, not the other way around. You no longer pray to be delivered from circumstances, but realize your power to transform them through the assumption of the state you desire. This is the true second birth, not of flesh, but of consciousness. You are born anew into a realization of your creative power and your identity with the divine I am. The community of the faithful. As you walk this path of conscious creation, you will find yourself drawn to others who understand and apply these principles. This is the true meaning of church, not an external organization, but a gathering of those who worship in spirit and in truth. You need not proselytize or convince others of what you have discovered. Those who are ready will be drawn to you naturally. Those who are not will fall away, often without conflict or drama. This sorting is not your responsibility, but part of the divine process. God is not done with them either, though their path may differ from yours for a season. Share your understanding with those who show genuine interest, but avoid casting your pearls before those who would trample them underfoot through ridicule or argumentative opposition. The truth you embody will speak more persuasively than any verbal argument. The eternal expansion. The divine process never truly ends, for consciousness is eternally expansive. There is no final state, no ultimate achievement that completes your journey. Each fulfillment opens the door to new desires, new possibilities, new expressions of the infinite creative power within you. This eternal expansion is cause for celebration, not concern. It means that life never grows stale, never becomes routine, never reaches a point of stagnation. There are always new worlds to conquer, new aspects of yourself to discover, new joys to experience. God is not done with you because God, your own wonderful human imagination, is the ever-creating, ever-expanding essence of life itself. As you align with this creative flow, accepting its perfect timing and infinite wisdom, you experience the joy that comes from participating consciously in the eternal unfoldment. Practical application. To close our discussion tonight, let me offer some practical guidance for applying these principles in your daily life. Select a desire that, if fulfilled, would bring you genuine joy. Make it specific enough to generate real feeling, but general enough to allow for flexible fulfillment. Construct a short scene that implies your desire's fulfillment. Perhaps it's a friend congratulating you, or you simply observing evidence that your wish has come to pass. Enter a state of relaxation through whatever method works best for you. Physical relaxation facilitates mental receptivity. In this relaxed state, enact your scene in imagination. See it through your own eyes, not as an observer. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, experience the emotions that would accompany fulfillment. Repeat this scene until it feels natural, until it has the tone of reality. This may require one session or many, depending on your capacity for feeling and your attachment to contrary evidence. Throughout your day, whenever doubt arises, remind yourself, God is not done with me. The process is unfolding perfectly. Then briefly recall the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Release all anxiety about how your desire will manifest. The bridge of incidents will form naturally through the wisdom of divine law. Express gratitude for the fulfillment of your desire, not as something to come, but as something already accomplished in consciousness. Watch for and follow intuitive promptings. These inner nudges are often part of the bridge of incidents leading to your manifestation. When your desire manifests, acknowledge the operation of law. This strengthens your faith for future creations. Remember, the process I describe is not magical thinking or wishful imagination. It is the deliberate application of the creative law that shapes all experience. It requires practice, persistence, and unwavering faith in the midst of contradictory appearances. Final words. My dear friends, as we conclude our time together, let me leave you with this final assurance: God is not done with you. The divine process that shapes your destiny continues perfectly, bringing you ever closer to the complete realization of your desires and ultimately to the fulfillment of the promise. Do not be discouraged by temporary appearances of failure or delay. Do not interpret the silence as abandonment. In the depths of consciousness, in the invisible realm where all creation begins, your assumption is being given form and substance, preparing to emerge into the world of physical reality. Trust the process as you would trust the growth of a seed planted in fertile soil. Having planted your desire through conscious assumption, enter the Sabbath rest of absolute confidence. Know that what you have planted must, by immutable law, come to harvest. You are not subject to chance or fate. You are not the victim of circumstances or the prisoner of past mistakes. You are the operating power of God in this world, creating your reality through the choices of consciousness. As you leave this place tonight, go with the conviction that the work begun in you continues to its perfect fulfillment. God is not done with you. The process unfolds exactly as it should. Your task is simply to maintain the faithful assumption that what you desire is already yours in the one true reality, the reality of consciousness. In that conviction lies your power, your peace, and the certainty of manifestation. God bless you all. What it truly means when we say, everyone leaves on the surface, it may appear to be a statement of abandonment, of loss of inevitable solitude. But I tell you, it is a statement of profound truth about the nature of our reality and our journey through this world. You see, in this world of Caesar, in this realm of shadows and reflections, people come and go. Relationships form and dissolve. Even the most steadfast companions will, at some point, depart, if not through choice, than through the natural course of life and death. This is the way of the world we perceive with our physical senses. But I am here to remind you of a greater truth: you are never truly alone, for you are one with the divine, with the creative power of the universe, with what I often refer to as your wonderful human imagination. This is the God within you, and it is ever present, all powerful, and the true source of all that you experience in your world. When we say everyone leaves, we are acknowledging the transient nature of our external experiences. We are recognizing that all things in this world of Caesar are temporary, fleeting. But in this recognition, we open ourselves to a profound realization. The only constant in your life is you, not the you of flesh and bone, but the divine you, the I am that is your true self. This I am is the God within you. It is the creative power that shapes your reality. It is the awareness that observes your thoughts, feelings, and experiences, and it is the only thing that truly never leaves you. Everything else, every person, every circumstance, every material possession is but a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. Now, you might be thinking, but Neville, this sounds isolating. Are you saying we should push everyone away? No, my dear friends, that is not what I'm suggesting at all. Instead, I'm inviting you to shift your perspective, to realize that your true power, your true essence, lies within you and not in the external world. When you understand this, when you truly grasp that you are one with the divine creative power of the universe, you will never feel alone again. You will realize that you have within you everything you need to not just survive, but to thrive, to create, to manifest the life of your dreams. Let me share with you a simple truth that has transformed countless lives. Your imagination is the God within you. It is the creative power through which all things are possible. When you learn to harness this power, when you learn to live from the end, to experience in your imagination the reality you desire, you become the master of your own destiny. You see, the world around you, with all its people and circumstances, is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back to you your own inner state. When you change within, the reflection must change without. This is the law, and it is immutable. So when we speak of learning to survive alone, what we're really talking about is learning to tap into the infinite power within you. It's about realizing that you are the operant power in your world. You are the one who decides what your experience will be, regardless of external circumstances. Now, let's delve deeper into this concept of being alone. In the world of Caesar, being alone often carries negative connotations. We're told that humans are social creatures, that we need others to thrive. And while it's true that relationships and connections can enrich our lives, it's crucial to understand that true fulfillment, true peace, true power comes from within. When you learn to be comfortable in your own company, when you learn to rely on your own inner resources, you become invincible. No external circumstance can shake you because you know that you carry within you the power to change any situation, to create any reality you desire. This is what it means to truly survive alone. It means to stand firm in the knowledge of who you really are, a divine being, one with God, possessing infinite creative power. It means to live from that state of awareness, to operate in the world from that unshakable foundation. But how do we achieve this state? How do we come to this realization and begin to live from it? The answer, my friends, lies in the practice of what I call the law. This law is simple yet profound. Imagine the reality you desire, feel it as real, and it must come to pass in your external world. You see, your imagination is not some fanciful, idle daydreaming. It is the very workshop of creation. When you imagine, you are engaging the God within you. You are exercising your divine creative power. And when you couple that imagination with feeling, when you feel the reality of what you've imagined, you set in motion the forces that will bring that imagined reality into your physical experience. This is how you not only survive but thrive when everyone leaves. You realize that you never needed anyone else to complete you, to fulfill you, to make you whole. You always had within you everything you needed. The people in your life, the relationships, the connections, these are all wonderful expressions of your inner state, reflections of your consciousness. But they are not the source of your happiness, your success, your fulfillment. You are the source. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Imagine a young woman who has just gone through a difficult breakup. In the world of Caesar, she might feel lost, alone, incomplete. She might believe that her happiness walked out the door with her former partner. But if this young woman understands the law, if she grasped the truth of her own divine nature, she would see the situation very differently. Instead of focusing on the loss, on the absence, she would turn within. She would use her imagination to create the reality she desires. Perhaps she imagines herself confident, joyful, and fulfilled. Perhaps she feels the reality of being in a loving, supportive relationship. Or perhaps she imagines herself thriving in her career, surrounded by friends, living a life of purpose and passion. The key is this: whatever she imagines and feels as real must by law be reflected in her external reality. This is not wishful thinking or positive affirmations. This is the operation of cosmic law. This is the creative power of God, the human imagination at work. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this selfish? Shouldn't we be focusing on others, on building relationships and connections? And to this, I say, there is no greater service you can offer to the world than to realize your own divine nature, to manifest your highest self, to live from the state of the person you wish to be. You see, when you do this, when you live from the end, from the state of your wish fulfilled, you automatically uplift everyone around you. You become a living example of what's possible. Your very being becomes an inspiration, a beacon of light in the world. Moreover, when you understand that everyone in your world is you pushed out, a reflection of your own consciousness, you realize that by changing yourself, by living from your higher state, you are quite literally changing the world. You are improving every relationship, every interaction, every circumstance in your life. This, my dear friends, is the true meaning of learning to survive alone. It's not about isolation or self-sufficiency in the worldly sense. It's about realizing your oneness with God, your true identity as the operant power in your world. It's about understanding that everything you seek, love, success, fulfillment, peace, is already within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. Let's explore this concept further through the lens of various life situations. Consider the realm of career and success. Many people believe that their success depends on external factors, on knowing the right people, on being in the right place at the right point, on having the right qualifications or background. But I tell you, true success comes from within. When you imagine yourself successful, when you feel the reality of being the person you wish to be in your career, you align yourself with that state. You begin to think, speak, and act from that state of success. And inevitably, the outer world must reorganize itself to match your inner assumption. I've seen this principle at work countless times. I remember a young man who came to one of my lectures. He was struggling in his career, feeling stuck and unappreciated. I advised him to imagine himself in the position he desired, to feel the satisfaction and confidence of being successful in his field. At first he was skeptical, but never, he said, I don't have the experience or the connections. How can simply imagining make a difference? I told him to persist in his imaginal act, to make it so real that he could taste it, feel it, live it in his mind. Weeks later, he returned with a beaming smile. Not only had he been promoted to the very position he had imagined, but opportunities he had never even considered had begun to flow into his life. You see, when he changed his inner state, when he began to live from the end in his imagination, the outer world had no choice but to conform to his new self-concept. This, my friends, is the power you hold within you. This is how you thrive when it seems like everyone has left, when the outer world seems unsupportive or even hostile to hope. You turn within, you imagine the reality you desire, and you live from that state. Now let's turn our attention to the realm of relationships, for this is often where the fear of being alone is most keenly felt. Many of you may have experienced the pain of loss, the ache of heartbreak, the fear of abandonment. And in those moments, it can feel as though a vital part of you has been torn away. But I am here to remind you of a profound truth. No one can complete you because you are already complete. You are whole, perfect, and complete in your divine nature. The love you seek, the companionship you desire, these are all within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. When you understand this, when you live from this truth, you free yourself from the desperate need for others to fill a perceived void in your life. You become magnetic, attracting into your life people and relationships that reflect your inner state of wholeness and love. Let me share with you the story of a dear friend who grasped this truth and transformed her life. She had been through a series of unfulfilling relationships, each ending in heartbreak and disappointment. She came to me feeling depleted, wondering if she was destined to be alone forever. I asked her a simple question. Who would you be if you were in the perfect relationship? How would you feel? How would you carry yourself? I encouraged her to imagine herself as that person, to feel the joy, the confidence, the love that she would feel in her ideal relationship. At first, she found it challenging. The pain of her past experiences kept intruding on her imaginal scene. But I urged her to persist, to make her imaginal act more real than her memories of past disappointments. Gradually, she began to feel a shift. She noticed that she was becoming more confident, more joyful, more at peace with herself. She no longer felt the desperate need to be in a relationship. And then something remarkable happened. Not only did she begin to attract healthier, more fulfilling relationships into her life, but she realized that she had fallen in love with herself. She had discovered the wellspring of love within her own being. She understood perhaps for the first time that she was complete in herself. This, my dear friends, is the liberating truth I want you to grasp tonight. When you realize that you are complete in yourself, when you tap into the infinite love and power within you, you free yourself from the fear of being alone. You learn not just to survive, but to thrive in any circumstance. Now, let's address another aspect of our topic, the fear of death. For in the world of Caesar, death represents the ultimate leaving, the final solitude. Many live in fear of this moment, seeing it as the end of everything, the ultimate separation. But I tell you, death is but a transition, a shift in consciousness. When you understand your true nature as a spiritual being, as one with God, you realize death holds no power over you. Your true self, your I am, is eternal and unchanging. In fact, I encourage you to practice dying daily. By this, I mean to die to your old concept of self, to let go of limiting beliefs and negative self-images. Each night as you go to sleep, imagine yourself as the person you wish to be. Feel the reality of your wish fulfilled. Then, as you awake each morning, carry that new self-concept with you into your day. This practice of dying daily to your old self and being reborn to your ideal self is the key to personal transformation. It is how you survive and thrive in a world where everything is constantly changing, where people come and go, where nothing in the world of Caesar is permanent. Remember, my friends, that your true home is not in this world of shadows and reflections. Your true home is in the realm of imagination, in the kingdom of God within you. When you live from this awareness, you are never truly alone, never truly abandoned, never truly at the mercy of external circumstances. Let's now turn our attention to the practical application of these principles in your daily life. How do you begin to live from this state of divine awareness? How do you tap into the God within you and create the life you desire? The first step is to still your mind, to quiet the incessant chatter of your physical senses and your rational mind. This is why I often emphasize the importance of meditation and contemplation. Find time each day to sit in silence and to turn your attention inward. As you sit in silence, bring to mind the reality you wish to experience. See it clearly in your mind's eye, but don't stop at mere visualization. Engage all your senses. If you're imagining a successful career, feel the satisfaction of achievement. Hear the congratulations of your colleagues. Feel the weight of responsibility and the thrill of new challenges. If you're imagining a loving relationship, feel the warmth of your partner's embrace. Hear the words of love and support. Feel the deep sense of connection and understanding. Whatever you're imagining, make it as real and as vivid as possible. And here's the crucial part. Feel the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the sense of accomplishment, as if what you're imagining is already your reality. This feeling, this emotion, is the secret to effective manifestation. For you see, the subconscious mind, which is one with the universal creative force, doesn't distinguish between what you're experiencing in your physical reality and what you're experiencing vividly in your imagination. When you feel the reality of your imagined state, you impress that reality upon your subconscious mind, and it begins to work tirelessly to bring that reality into your physical experience. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, I've tried this, and it didn't work. I imagined what I wanted, but nothing changed to this. I say persistence is key. You must return to your imaginal scene night after night, impressing it upon your subconscious mind until it feels more real to you than your current physical reality. Remember, you are undoing years, perhaps decades of negative thinking and limiting beliefs. You are reversing the momentum of your old thought patterns. This takes time and consistent effort. But I assure you, if you persist, if you remain faithful to your imaginal act, it must bear fruit in your physical reality. Moreover, you must learn to live from the state of your wish fulfilled. This means aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with the person you are imagining yourself to be. If you're imagining financial abundance, start treating yourself as if you are already wealthy. If you're imagining a loving relationship, start treating yourself and others with the love and respect you envision in your ideal relationship. This is what I mean when I speak of living from the end. You don't wait for your outer world to change before you change your inner state. You change your inner state, and your outer world must follow suit. Now let's address a common concern that arises when we speak of creating our own reality. Many worry, if I'm creating my reality, does that mean I'm to blame for all the negative things in my life? And to this I say, let go of the concepts of blame and fault. These are limiting beliefs. that keep you trapped in a cycle of guilt and self-recrimination. Instead, embrace the empowering truth that if you can imagine it, you can create it. Your past thoughts and beliefs may have contributed to your current circumstances, but your future is determined by your present thoughts and beliefs. You have the power right now, in this very moment, to begin creating the life you desire. This understanding is particularly powerful when it comes to healing from past hurts and traumas. Many of you may have experienced abandonment, betrayal, or loss. These experiences can leave deep scars, making it difficult to trust, to open your heart, to believe in the possibility of love and connection. But I tell you, no matter what you've experienced in the past, you have the power to heal. You have the power to rewrite your story, to create a new narrative for your life. And it all begins in your imagination. Imagine yourself healed, whole, and complete. Feel the peace that comes with forgiveness, the joy that comes with self-love, the confidence that comes with knowing your own worth. Live from this state and watch as your outer world begins to reflect your inner healing. Remember, everyone who has ever hurt you, everyone who has ever left you, was simply playing a role in the story you were telling. As you change your story, as you revise your concept of self, the characters in your life will either change to match your new narrative or they will exit stage left, making room for new characters who align with your new self-concept. This is the true meaning of learning to survive alone. It's about recognizing that you are the author of your life story. You are the creator of your reality. You have within you everything you need to create the life you desire. Now, let's talk about the concept of revision, a powerful technique that can help you reshape your past and consequently your present and future. Revision is not about denying what happened, but about reinterpreting events in a way that empowers you and aligns with your desired reality. For instance, if you've experienced a painful breakup, instead of replaying the hurt and betrayal in your mind you have seen, imagine the relationship ending amicably, with both parties wishing each other well. Feel the peace and closure that comes with this revised scenario. Or if you've lost a job, instead of dwelling on the feelings of rejection and failure, revise the scene. Imagine your former employer congratulating you on moving on to bigger, better opportunities. Feel the excitement and optimism of new beginnings. By revising past events in your imagination, you're not changing what physically happened, but you are changing your emotional response to those events. And since your emotional state is what creates your reality, this revision can have a profound impact on your present and future experiences. This practice of revision is particularly powerful when it comes to healing feelings of abandonment or betrayal. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of others' actions, you begin to see yourself as the powerful creator of your own experience. You realize that no one can truly abandon you because you are never alone. You are always one with the divine, with the God within you. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be feeling as you hear these words. You might be thinking, Neville, this all sounds wonderful, but it feels selfish. Shouldn't we be focusing on helping others, on making the world a better place? To this I say, there is no greater service you can offer to the world than to realize your own divine nature and to live a nature. When you tap into the God within you, when you begin to create consciously and deliberately, you become a beacon of light in the world. Your very being uplifts those around you. Moreover, when you understand that everyone and everything in your world is you pushed out, a reflection of your own consciousness, you realize that by changing yourself, you are changing the world. As you cultivate love, peace, and abundance within yourself, you naturally extend these qualities to everyone in your world. This is the true meaning of being your brother's keeper. It's not about trying to change others or fix their problems. It's about embodying the change you wish to see in the world. It's about living from the state of the person you wish to be. And in doing so, inspiring others to recognize their own divine nature. Let me share with you a powerful practice that can help you embody this understanding. Each night, before you go to sleep, I want you to imagine yourself as the person you wish to be. See yourself living the life you desire, embodying the qualities you admire. But don't stop there. As you imagine this ideal version of yourself, extend that same love, success, and fulfillment to everyone in your world. See everyone around you thriving, joyful, and fulfilled. Feel the happiness that comes from knowing that as you prosper, so does everyone in your world. This practice not only accelerates your own manifestation process, but also cultivates a deep sense of connection and oneness with all of life. You begin to understand experientially that there is no separation, that we are all one in consciousness. As you continue this practice, you'll find that your fear of being alone, your fear of abandonment begins to dissolve. You realize that you can never truly be alone because you are one with all of life. You are one with God, the creative power of the universe. Now let's delve deeper into the concept of states of consciousness, for this understanding is crucial to mastering the art of conscious creation. Every experience you have, every circumstance in your life, is the result of the state of consciousness you're occupying. A state is simply a mindset, a way of being. It's the sum total of your thoughts, beliefs, and feelings about yourself and the world. When you change your state, when you shift your consciousness to embody different thoughts, beliefs, and feelings, your experience must change to match your new state. This is why it's so important to mind your inner conversations, to be aware of the thoughts you're thinking and the emotions you're feeling throughout your seal. These inner conversations, these habitual thought patterns, are creating your reality. If you find yourself constantly thinking thoughts of lack, of loneliness, of abandonment, you're occupying a state that will continue to create experiences that match those thoughts. But the moment you shift your consciousness, the moment you begin to think thoughts of abundance, of connection, of divine companionship, you move into a new state. And your reality must shift to reflect this new state. This understanding is particularly powerful when it comes to dealing with the fear of being alone. You see, loneliness is a state of consciousness. It's not determined by your external circumstances, but by your inner perception of those circumstances. You can be in a room full of people and feel desperately alone if you're occupying a state of loneliness. Conversely, you can be physically alone and feel deeply connected and fulfilled if you're occupying a state of divine companionship, of oneness with God. The key then is to consciously choose the state you wish to occupy. And you do this through your imagination. By imagining yourself in the state you desire, by feeling the reality of that state, you begin to shift your consciousness. And as your consciousness shifts, your reality must follow suit. Let me give you a practical exercise to help you master this skill of state shifting. Choose a state you wish to embody. Perhaps it's confidence, or love, or success. Now, close your eyes and imagine a scene that implies you are already living from that state. Make it as vivid and as real as possible. For instance, if you're imagining the state of confidence, you might see yourself giving a powerful presentation to a room full of attentive listeners. Feel the confidence coursing through your body. Hear the applause at the end of your talk. Feel the satisfaction of knowing you've made a positive impact. Now, here's the crucial part. Carry this feeling with you throughout your day. When you interact with others, when you go about your tasks, do so from this state of confidence. Speak, think, and act as the confident person you've imagined yourself to be. At first, this might feel like you're pretending or playing a role. But I assure you, as you persist in this practice, it will become more and more natural. You'll find yourself spontaneously thinking and acting from this new state. And as you do, you'll see your outer world begin to reflect your inner state. This practice of consciously choosing and occupying states is the key to mastering your life experience. It's how you learn not just to survive, but to thrive, regardless of external circumstances. It's how you become the conscious creator of your reality. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when we discuss these principles. Many ask, Neville, if I can create my reality through my imagination, why do bad things stay? Why do I still experience loss and pain? To this I say, remember that you are in the process of awakening to your true nature as a divine creator. You are learning to use the power of your imagination consciously and deliberately. But for much of your life, you've been creating unconsciously, reacting to circumstances rather than consciously choosing your state. Moreover, you are surrounded by the thoughts and beliefs of others, by societal conditioning that often runs counter to these principles. It takes time and practice to overcome these influences and to consistently create from a place of conscious awareness. But here's the empowering truth. Even when challenging circumstances arise, you have the power to choose how you respond. You have the power to revise your experience, to find the gift in every situation, to use every experience as an opportunity for growth and expansion. This is what it means to be the operant power in your world. It doesn't mean that you'll never face challenges or that everything will always go smoothly. It means that you have the power to choose your response to every situation, to create meaning from every experience, to use every circumstance as a stepping stone to your desired reality. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to leave you with a powerful reminder. You are never truly alone. The God within you, your own wonderful human imagination, is your constant companion, your unfailing friend, your source of infinite possibility. When you fully grasp this truth, when you live from this understanding, you free yourself from the fear of abandonment, from the anxiety of being alone. You realize that everything you seek, love, companionship, success, fulfillment, is already within you, waiting to be recognized and expressed. So my dear friends, as you go forth from this place, I encourage you to practice living from the state of your wish fulfilled. Imagine the reality you desire. Feel it as real and persist in that feeling. Know that as you do this, you are engaging the creative power of the universe. You are activating the God within you. Remember, everyone lives in the world of Caesar, but in the world of spirit, in the kingdom of God within you, you are never alone. You are one with the source of all creation, one with the power that shapes universes. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding, and watch as your world transforms to reflect the divine being that you truly are. Thank you, and may God bless you all.